Money makes money, and more money makes even more money. You heard that before, right? But here's the thing, the secret doesn't start at $1 million or even at $100,000. The real turning point is your first $20,000. Because once you hit that number, everything changes. Your confidence changes, your freedom changes, even you look at the things, the opportunity changes. If you're new here, I'm Sushant. I retired at 41. And in this video, I'll show you why $20,000 is the milestone that flips the game and how you can get there. Let's start. I was at the pickleball court the other day when I noticed something unusual about my friend. He was grinning year to year, playing looser, lighter, with a lot more confidence than I have ever seen before. We play often, and usually this dude is little tense, not just in the game, but in general in life. He's always worried about money, about expenses, about what's coming next. And I will always nudge him with, dude, you need a financial plan. Let's sit together, work on it. But that day, in between the games, he leaned over and said, guess what? I finally hit that $20,000 in saving. The way he said it, the pride in his voice, it was like a weight was lifted off his shoulders. And you could see it in his game as well. He wasn't playing scared anymore. Now, $20,000 isn't a jackpot. It's not retirement money, but something shifted in him that day. Before you have savings, life feels like survival mode. You take the first job you're offered, even if it is not what you want. You stay in the situations you hate because you can't afford to live. You make decisions out of fear. And when you're stuck in survival mode, your brain can't think about growth. You're not thinking about investing or building wealth. You're just trying to make it to the next paycheck. But when you hit that $20,000, it's not just about the number in the bank account. It's a proof that you're moving forward. You're above average and that you finally have a cushion. That brings me to the second reason, the snowball effect. Einstein called compounding the eighth wonder of the world. And honestly, you don't really feel it until you hit that $20,000 mark. And that's when the magic kicks in. Let's say you're saving $800 a month, earning 10% a year. Saving that first $20,000 is a grind. It will take you almost 2 years, almost 23 months of discipline and patience. But here's the part that blew my mind. The next 20K doesn't take another 23 months. It drops to around 20 months. And then the third 20K, it takes closer to 17 months. Same efforts from you, but now your money is helping you out. It is pitching in. I had a buddy who was new to investing once said, man, it feels like I'm working just as hard, but my savings are growing faster. And I told him, that's the snowball effect, my friend. You've finally got the momentum. And you can see the relief in people's face when they realize it. The work feels lighter because the money is no longer just sitting there. It is working for you. Here's the crazy part. Once you're sitting on $400,000, that same 20K that felt like a 2-year grind at the beginning now shows up in just 5 months. That's the snowball effect. The first milestone always feels impossible, but every 20K after that, it comes quicker, it feels easier because your money is finally working as hard as you are. And that brings me to the third point. A couple months back, I went on a short trip with two of my friends. Same hotel, same food, same sightseeing. And I noticed something. One buddy pulls out his cash every time we pay, and the other kept swiping his credit card. At the dinner, the cash guy is laughing, ordering dessert, really enjoying himself. And the credit card guy, he's smiling too, but then he leans over and goes, man, I probably shouldn't be spending this much, but whatever, I'll spend it. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, the same exact trip feels totally different depending on what's in your bank account. You could see it on him. He wanted to enjoy, but guilt was written on his face. Meanwhile, the other friend, he was free as a bird. He knew his bills were covered. He had savings back home, and that's why probably laugh was louder and his shoulders were more relaxed. And that's what money does. It takes guilt out of fun. People assume saving is about sacrifices, cutting back, saying no, missing out. But honestly, it's the exact opposite. Saving is what lets you say yes without stress. When you got that $20,000 saved, you can finally enjoy yourself without that little voice in your head saying you can't afford it. And number 4 is the power to say no. The first real freedom money gives you is not buying fancy stuff. It's the ability to say no. I had this pickleball buddy who picked up every single overtime shift. Didn't matter if he was dead tired or if they had any family plans. If the boss asked, he would say yes. And one day I asked him, man, why do you keep doing this to yourself? And he shrugged and said, because I can't afford to say no. When you have got nothing saved, every decision is fear-based. You say yes because you're scared of losing money. You're scared of missing out. But here's what changes when you hit that $20,000 mark. You suddenly realize that you can say no. And not just once. You have already been saying no for months now to even get there. No to impulse buys, no to the weekends where money just disappears. That's when it clicks. Saving $20,000 isn't just about the money in the bank. You have proven to yourself you can delay gratification. And that's the real freedom. The habit of saying no becomes your superpower. It keeps you out of toxic situations, keeps you from swiping the credit card just because, and keeps you focused on the things that actually matter. So yeah, $20,000 is great as cushion, but the bigger win is you become become the kind of person who knows when to say yes and isn't afraid to say no. When people ask me, isn't investment risky? I always tell them it depends on whether you got your cushion or not. See, if you got no savings and you're throwing money into the stock market, every dip feels like end of the world. The market drops 10% and you're panicking because what if you need that cash tomorrow? That's why people end up selling at the worst possible time. But with $20,000 sitting in the emergency fund, that's your buffer, that's your margin. Suddenly investing feels less scary because you know you don't have to touch it. I still remember when I first started investing seriously. I put money into a low cost index fund and few months later, boom, the market dropped. My buddy called me all stressed out. Should we sell? This is bad. This is going down. I laughed and said, man, no, I got my cash aside. I'm not touching this. I'm holding through this period. That's the difference saving makes. It gives you patience. It gives you the staying power. And without it, you're forced to sell low because you need money. And with savings, you can ride out the storm without any problem. And yeah, investing is always risky. But when you got that 20K tucked away, that risk feels manageable. You can let compounding do its thing. And that's where the real wealth is built. Not from the quick trades or gambling, but from having patience and the right margin. So this is it. Why your first 20K changes everything and what you need to get there. If you like this video, I'm sure you will like this video as well. Your finance friend Sushant, signing off.